I take the digital balance. I think the connection is... Yes, we are connected. Start the broadcast now.
In January of 1973, the director of the CIA ordered every file on Project MKUltra destroyed. 20,000 pages survived. They were in the wrong building, filed under budget and finance instead of operations. The shredding teams never walked that aisle. 4 years later, a journalist filed a request for them, and the wrong building answered. This is what was in the wrong building. April 13th, 1953. The Director of Central Intelligence signs the program into existence. At least 149 subprojects. More than 80 institutions, universities, military bases, hospitals, prisons, 185 researchers outside the government working on contract. The methods in the surviving records: LSD, mescaline, hypnosis, electroshock, sensory deprivation, sleep deprivation, psychological coercion, applied to people who did not know they were subjects. The program ran to at least 1964. Then it was renamed and continued, smaller. Then the order came from the top of the agency, and the chemist who ran the drug work carried it out. The central records went first. The summaries, the budgets, the names. What is left is the accounting department's copy. The man who runs through these pages is Louis Jolyon West. Everyone called him Jolly. Born in Brooklyn, 1924. In 1954, at 29 years old, he was made head of psychiatry at a medical school in Oklahoma, the youngest man holding a psychiatry chair in the country. In 1969, he took UCLA, chair of psychiatry, director of the Neuropsychiatric Institute. He held it for 20 years. He also held a CIA contract. Subproject 43, 1955 to 1956, $20,800. His proposal title: Psychophysiological Studies of Hypnosis and Suggestibility. The document filed alongside it: Studies of Dissociative States. For the rest of his life, he denied any deep involvement with the agency. 1956. West writes his funders a report, 14 pages. He describes giving LSD and other drugs, together with hypnosis, to people who did not know they were being given anything at all. Then he claims a result. He claims he took a man's true memory out and put a false one in its place, without the man knowing. Whether the technique worked has never been independently established. What is established is that he wrote it down and sent it to the CIA. 1967. San Francisco. On June 7th, a doctor opens a free medical clinic in the Haight. No charge, no questions. The neighborhood fills with runaways. West rents a place nearby. He has a research contract to study the drug culture of the Haight, and he runs a team there through the back half of the year. The clinic lets him recruit subjects. A parolee comes into that clinic. One of his girls has an infection. The doctor at the door remembered him. The parolee's name is Charles Manson. Manson's parole officer is Roger Smith. Roger Smith is holding Manson's parole meetings inside the same clinic. Roger Smith is also part of an experimental parole program. By the end of that year, his caseload has dropped to one man. So the record holds two things at once: a psychiatrist with agency money in his history, recruiting subjects out of that clinic, and the man assembling the group that will commit the murders 2 years later, walking through the same door. No document puts them in the same room. The record puts them in the same building, in the same summer. Go back 3 years. April 26, 1964. Dallas County Jail. The day before, a prisoner has tried to kill himself by beating his head against the wall of his cell. The prisoner is Jack Ruby, the man who shot Lee Harvey Oswald. The psychiatrist who examines him in that cell is Jolly West. West writes 5 pages. He signs them. A notary signs them. The diagnosis: acute psychosis, a paranoid state, suicidal. He records the delusion. Ruby believes a massacre of Jews is happening outside his cell, and that it is happening because the country blames him for Kennedy. West recommends he be moved to a mental facility. 6 weeks later, Ruby testifies to the Warren Commission from that jail. The testimony is disorganized. He circles, he asks again and again to be put on a lie detector. The session runs to the end. On that commission sits the man who signed MKUltra into existence 11 years earlier. The agency's liaison to that commission is the man who will order the files destroyed. Between the cell in Dallas and the clinic in the Haight, West did something else. August 3rd, 1962. Oklahoma City. There is an elephant at the zoo. Male, Indian, 14 years old. His name is Tusco. West and two colleagues load a dart with 297 milligrams of LSD, roughly 3,000 times a human dose. They shoot him in the right buttock. 5 minutes. He trumpets, goes down, loses control of his bowels, and begins to seize. They push drugs into him to bring him back. 1 hour and 40 minutes after the dart, Tusco is dead. West published it. In the paper, he wrote that the finding may prove valuable in elephant control work in Africa. It is the largest single dose of LSD given to any animal in the located record. The standard reading since has been that the rescue drugs killed him, not the acid. 1972. West has UCLA, and he has state money. He proposes a center for the study and reduction of violence. The research plan runs from rats dosed with LSD to violent veterans to junior high school students. The preliminary proposal mentions psychosurgery, electrodes in the brain. West said publicly that was never the plan. 3 state institutions were named as satellite sites. The opposition came from the NAACP, the ACLU, the Black Panthers, the American Friends Service Committee. Protests delayed it. The proposal was rewritten. The center never operated in the form he wrote. June 30th, 2026. A House committee holds a hearing on MKUltra, the first since 1977. A journalist testifies that West crossed paths with Manson at that clinic, and that West had come there to recruit research subjects. He offers his documents into the record, the correspondence, the 14-page report. The chair states the agency is declassifying newly found MKUltra material involving a forgery program. The chair also states on the record that the director personally ordered the destruction. And the journalist stops short. He does not say Manson was a CIA subject. The case he does argue is this. Manson was handled with unusual leniency by law enforcement for years. He was inside the orbit of a CIA-contracted psychiatrist and a parole officer running an experiment. He conditioned his followers with LSD. The behavioral research programs and the surveillance programs were operating in the same city, in the same year, using the same drug. On that reading, the overlap is too dense to be an accident. That is a reading. It is not a document. No released file names Manson as a subject, an asset, or a participant in anything. The files that would settle it were destroyed in January of 1973. So the record stands like this. A man with a government contract to study how to put a memory into a head that did not grow it. In the cell with the assassin's assassin, 6 weeks before he talked. In the clinic with the parolee, 2 years before the murders. What was he doing with the people around him?
This has been the Digital Madman. If you enjoyed this, please share it, subscribe, and smash the like button so we can get the algorithm to pick it up. Thank you, and I will speak with you next time.